Washington took down its guardrails. Ottawa answered with steel. In one swift announcement, Canada shocked its southern neighbor with a bold counter-move, a $15.6 billion cap on steel and aluminum imports from the United States. But what made headlines wasn't just the cap, it was what came with it. If U.S. exports cross that line, they'll be hit with a crushing 50% tariff. That's not a warning shot, that's a hammer. Overnight, cross-border freight, especially raw steel in rollstock form, came to a screeching halt. Canada's high-efficiency, low-carbon furnaces lit up like engines revving at the starting line. The message was clear. This wasn't business as usual. This was economic warfare wrapped in green strategy. Think of it like this. Imagine you're running a bakery, and your neighbor keeps flooding the market with cheap bread. One day you set a limit. They can sell up to 100 loaves per month. But if they deliver 101, each extra loaf gets slapped with a massive fee. Now imagine that on a national scale, with billions of dollars at stake and entire industries on edge. So was this sudden move just Canada punching back against Trump's latest tariffs, or is something deeper at play? This $15.6 billion cap wasn't pulled out of thin air. It was a calculated move, designed down to the decimal. Behind closed doors in Ottawa, government officials, industry leaders, union heads, and economists gathered in a rush of emergency meetings. They went straight to the numbers. On average, the United States sends around $23 billion worth of steel and aluminum to Canada every year. Ottawa drew the line at two-thirds of that, 67%, roughly $15.6 billion. That number wasn't random. It was based on what Canada considers a safe volume, high enough to keep some trade flowing, but low enough to block any risk of price dumping. And then came the real deterrent. Go over that cap, and you hit a wall, a 50% import tariff. That means United States suppliers would be charged hundreds of dollars more per ton. To put it in perspective, it's like telling your neighbor they can borrow water from your well, but if they draw too much, they'll have to pay double the price for every extra drop. It's a psychological trick as much as it is a tax. U.S. exporters now face a dilemma every time they load a truck. Do we stay under the quota and eat a 25% loss? Or do we cross the line and risk losing 50%? That uncertainty becomes Ottawa's secret weapon. It turns hesitation into a policy tool. This wasn't just about matching Trump's tariff with a tariff of their own. It was about flipping the power dynamic. And in doing so, Canada opened the door to a much bigger plan. At first glance, this looked like classic tit-for-tat. Trump raises tariffs, Canada hits back. But dig deeper, and you'll find something more ambitious. Ottawa isn't just retaliating, it's reinventing its industrial base. This trade battle has become the fuel for something bigger, a green manufacturing revolution. The groundwork was already there. Canada has been quietly investing in low-carbon steel and aluminum for years. In Quebec, massive hydroelectric dams power electric arc furnaces, clean, efficient, and way less polluting than coal-fired blast furnaces. In Alberta, waste gas is being turned into clean hydrogen to feed new pig iron processes. Ontario is phasing out carbon-heavy production in favor of electric melting pots. Last winter, the federal government put $1.2 billion on the table to push this shift even further. But now, Trump's tariffs have done something unexpected. They've made that investment instantly more valuable. This tariff isn't just a shield, it's a slingshot, launching Canadian industry into a future where low-carbon products don't just cost less to make, they cost less to export to carbon-sensitive markets like the European Union. Canada's new strategy isn't just about tariffs, it's also about plugging holes. For years, foreign steel and aluminum, especially from China, have been sneaking into Canada through a side door. Here's how the trick worked. Chinese semi-finished metals would first be shipped to the United States or Mexico. There, they'd undergo minor processing, just enough to change the label, and then get re-exported to Canada, marked as American or Mexican origin. That way, they bypassed direct trade restrictions and got favorable treatment at the border. But Ottawa is done playing that game. A new digital tracking system is now in place. Think of it like GPS for cargo mixed with DNA testing. Every container is logged with blockchain-based shipping records. Satellite stamps confirm locations. Customs gets real-time alerts when something looks off. Suspicious shipments are flagged red or amber before they even reach port. And if you think that's high-tech, consider this. Canada is now using chemical isotope testing to verify where the metals came from. For example, nickel from China has a slightly different chemical signature than nickel mined in North America. A quick lab scan can reveal whether a shipment is truly American or just wearing an American disguise. While Canada strengthens its walls and fires up its furnaces, the real pain is showing up just across the border, in America's industrial heartland. Each year, United states like Michigan and Ohio send about $6 billion worth of rolled steel into Canada. It's a tightly wound system. Steel sheets cross into Ontario in the morning, get stamped into car doors or bumpers in Windsor by afternoon, and are trucked back to Detroit by nightfall. But now, even at the lower 25% tariff tier, costs are rising by $360 per ton. For companies like GM and Ford, that's not pocket change. That's margin-killing pressure. Every single vehicle part produced in Canada and sent back to the United States now comes with a heavier price tag. So what do? They face a tough decision. Option 1, keep sending panels to Canada, absorb the tariff, and hope costs level out. Option 2, bring production back to United States soil, even if that means higher labor or facility costs. It's a logistical nightmare either way. And Canada isn't giving them any wiggle room. Tariff enforcement will be reviewed every 3 months, blocking companies from playing the usual end-of-year catch-up game. There's no opportunity to front-load shipments, flood the market, or bend the rules. The tap is being turned, tightly and deliberately. It's like shutting down part of a factory's ventilation system. The pressure builds up fast, and soon the entire operation starts to cough and sputter. For Canada, this isn't just about shielding local jobs. It's about setting the stage for a longer-term industrial transformation, and it's already paying off. Let's start with Quebec. Aluminum smelters there run almost entirely on hydroelectric power, making their output some of the cleanest in the world. Now, thanks to the tariff wall, these producers are gaining a clear edge. Not only are they protected at home, but they're also exempt from the European Union's carbon border tax, which punishes high-emission imports. That's a €100 per ton advantage over competitors from places like Brazil or Turkey. Alberta's energy sector is cashing in too. For years, the local pipeline industry pushed for more domestically sourced steel. Now, with United States pipe products facing steep tariffs, Ottawa is linking federal energy projects to local content requirements, effectively redirecting billions in spending back into Canadian steel mills. Even the unions are celebrating. The president of Unifor said shift schedules are finally being written in ink, not pencil, a sign of job security. A United Steelworkers rep added, "The furnaces are no longer running on hope, they're running on orders." That's a dramatic turnaround from the uncertainty of recent years. From a numbers angle, the shift is clear. Canada didn't just raise tariffs. It rewired the flow of its entire metal economy, rerouting trade, amplifying clean tech, and boosting industrial self-reliance. And while the United States scrambles to adjust, Canada is already reaping the benefits of its first-mover strategy. This isn't a quick tit-for-tat trade fight. It's a full-scale industrial reset. And well, Canada's final move might be the most strategic of all. In the world of global trade, this kind of retaliation is rare. Most countries respond with tariffs, wait for talks, then pull back. But Canada isn't pulling back. It's playing the long game, and it's aiming for the throne. In Hamilton, furnaces are operating on extended shifts. In Quebec, extra megawatts of hydroelectricity are being allocated to melt down more aluminum. And in Alberta, pipeline planners are replacing U.S. steel with domestic orders in their blueprints. This is no longer just about countering Trump's tariffs. It's about positioning Canada as a green metal powerhouse. The long-term vision? Compete with nations like Norway, a leader in green aluminum. When Norway started branding its low-carbon metal, European automakers jumped at the chance to use it in their cars. Canada is now taking the same path with steel. At the center of this vision is PTX, a cutting-edge facility that combines electric arc furnaces with power-to-X technology. It's expected to cut emissions from 800 kilograms of CO2 per ton of steel to just 150 kilograms. That means Canadian steel will not only be cleaner, it'll qualify for carbon tax exemptions in key markets like the European Union. So while Washington debates whether to keep using national security laws to justify tariffs, Ottawa is busy unlocking new trade lanes, not just north-south but east-west toward Europe and beyond. And the irony? Trump's own tariffs may have helped push Canada there faster. By trying to protect American industries, the United States may have inadvertently sparked the rise of a greener, more independent Canadian rival. Now the ball is in Washington's court. Will the United States push back harder, open talks, or double down? No one knows for sure. But the sound echoing across the border isn't political speeches. It's the deep, steady hum of blast furnaces. It's the clank of pipeline steel being cut to size. It's the whir of electric furnaces reshaping raw metal, and maybe reshaping the future of trade itself. This is no longer just about countering Trump's tariffs. It's about positioning Canada as a green metal powerhouse. The long-term vision? Compete with nations like Norway, a leader in green aluminum. When Norway started branding its low-carbon metal, European automakers jumped at the chance to use it in their cars. Canada is now taking the same path with steel. At the center of this vision is PTX, a cutting-edge facility that combines electric arc furnaces with power-to-X technology. It's expected to cut emissions from 800 kilograms of CO2 per ton of steel to just 150 kilograms. That means Canadian steel will not only be cleaner, it'll qualify for carbon tax exemptions in key markets like the European Union. So while Washington debates whether to keep using national security laws to justify tariffs, Ottawa is busy unlocking new trade lanes, not just north-south but east-west toward Europe and beyond. And the irony? Trump's own tariffs may have helped push Canada there faster. By trying to protect American industries, the United States may have inadvertently sparked the rise of a greener, more independent Canadian rival. So what do you think? Is Canada rewriting the rules of the game or just playing a smarter hand in an old one? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more deep dive stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Thanks for watching.